Greetings, Evolvers. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. I am so happy to have you join me today. And for those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive, empath, chef, children's book author, and an all-around life path 3. And I want to jump right into the subject and matter at hand. Wendy Williams, Charlemagne the God, and cancers reunited, and it feels so good. So for those of you that were tuned in today or saw the clips that are available online at this point, Wendy Williams did what we all have been waiting to hear her do for years. And let me give a little bit of foundation here for people that may be completely unaware. Wendy Williams is a very popular, primarily radio personality that now has beautifully transitioned into television. And she had a partner named Charlemagne the God, and he was a young upstart and she mentored him. And they were very close for many years. The parallel I could draw to another industry relationship would be Joan Rivers and Johnny Carson. Very similar relationship. In fact, that always was of interest to me, that relationship, and the fact that Johnny died before Joan could ever have him take her back. And I always prayed, and I'm not just saying this, I genuinely always prayed that Wendy and Charlemagne would have reconciliation and that they would get back into each other's good graces and that life would not pass them by without that. Because I feel like that was a bitter rock that Joan took with her when it was her time to transition. She never got over the way that Johnny Carson shunned her. But this video is not about Johnny and Joan. We'll maybe do another video about them and kind of get into what's going on there. What I will say is that Wendy and Charlemagne are on the brink of making amends. And for those of you that may not know, I've already made a video, you can go check it out, about Wendy Williams. It was a prediction essentially and a reading that I made about a month ago prior to all of this unraveling the way that it has begun. So you guys are getting that. You guys that saw that video got the tea first, that this is what was happening. Now, here's the thing. I think we all can ascertain, if we have eyes to see, that this was going to be the trajectory of their relationship. So we didn't know because it was looking pretty sketchy, and I was worried for Wendy. Her soul she had an opportunity to exit a couple times over the last few months. And when I say exit, I mean transition and leave us. And she's made a choice to fight, which is what I predicted she would do. I am so happy to see that it is what she is doing. But what I love even more is that this gets sweeter and sweeter and deeper the further it goes. Shout out to Madonna. And it gets sweeter because there is an opportunity for a friendship to be mended. Have you ever loved someone so much it made you cry? I guess I'm just going to talk in song lyrics this whole time, Monica. No, that's Brandy. Don't get me wrong, guys. You comment below if I'm right or wrong, if you know who that was. That was Brandy, I do believe. So what I will say is this. Charlemagne has always had Wendy's back. He's never talked about her. Wendy's pretended that she's not known him. She has shunned him. She treated him like Mariah Carey treated J-Lo, and she said, I don't know her, when someone asked about Charlemagne years ago, and it was documented, and it was painful for Charlemagne. The thing to note about both of them is that they are both Cancerian sun signs, and so they really understand deeply how each other works. Wendy took Charlemagne under her wing in a deep way, not just to mentor him and teach him the ropes of radio, but she parented him in many ways and taught him a lot of things, not just about life, but about how to conduct themselves. And Charlemagne was on Wendy's show in the beginning of her show. He was her man on the street, you know, that goes out and asks the questions to the roaming public. Well, that was Charlemagne. And she was integrating him in the show, and they were really developing a relationship where I felt like it was going to branch out, and it was going to be something that he really blew up from. It turns out God had other plans, and I love that too. There's so many lessons in this. What God has for you, no one can take from you, right? So Charlemagne has turned into a celebrity in his own right and in his own way, having sound bites that we all know from the syndicated radio show, The Breakfast Club. So Charlemagne and he's kind of essentially understood as the lead of that show. So he has been fine, but the pain that I felt when I just energetically tuned into him about Wendy was deep. He felt deeply rejected and deeply hurt, especially because he knew that it didn't have anything to do with him directly hurting her and warranting the rejection that she gave him. And so he's held his tongue and held his tongue. And guys, the dam has broken. He is now speaking. She is now speaking. They are now speaking to each other. And that is the beauty of life, and kind of the underline to the sentence, where there is life, there is hope. And that's why I wanted them to reconcile before life left either of them, so that they could go to their end knowing that this person was really a soulmate and really loved me. I feel like Wendy and Charlemagne have known each other before. I feel as though they made an agreement to come into this life and meet up and high five and take the world by storm. And sometimes when you have a soulmate, you have to go your own separate way from them. They are woven into the tapestry of your life, but they are not able to travel with you side by side in your life. Those are life partners, and those are different friendships that you build. But someone who is pivotal and a catalyst in your life, like Wendy has been to Charlemagne, they don't come along frequently, and you don't get rid of them as easy as you think. And so I'm so happy to see them back in each other's energy and in each other's eyes and heart. And I'm so happy to see that what is about to happen is going to be incredible, because there's a power dynamic that exists between the two of them. Also, as Cancerians, the level of petty can rise to epic proportions. As we know, Charlemagne and Wendy are both amazing at their craft, meaning they talk a lot of crap, and they do it so expertly that they're paid millions of dollars just to get people riled up. Wendy definitely fashioned herself initially and looked up to Howard Stern, and we all know Wendy it definitely wasn't a shock jock, but she was a shock jock to the culture, because she talked about things and people which no one really understood why she was so nosy and invasive, and it really offended a lot of people, which is something that has come up recently with her scandal and the divorce from her husband, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about here, which has even facilitated this relationship to be able to be rekindled between her and Charlemagne. So she's not talking about it, but now she's starting to talk about it, and we were all very like, this is hypocritical, Wendy. You built your business talking about people. How dare you? Well, this is her business, and that was her life, and that was her personal business. And even though she's never put up a great line of delineation for other celebrities, she certainly did require that boundary back for herself, which is also very Cancerian. I have my exoskeleton. I protect myself. You cannot penetrate and get in, because I am soft and pink. And that's something that Wendy has said many times. Now, the soft and pink, I want to say for Charlemagne too, but I know about all of the innuendos and jokes about Charlemagne being gay, allegedly. I don't believe is, but what I will say about Charlemagne is he is sensitive, and that's what makes him so good at his job, because he's able to pounce and sense and tap into the energy of a moment, and he knows when he's creating a moment. And so that is a part of his energy too. Cancers are ruled by the moon. They're also ruled by the energy of mother, excuse me. Cancerian men are very attached to the energy of mother, and this is why the rejection from Wendy Williams hit Charlemagne in such a way that he was not able to recover from it ever, nor would he willingly betray her in order to just get a reaction. Cancers have the ability to play the long game, and both Charlemagne and Wendy played the long game. Oh my gosh, Wendy, I'm going to make a whole nother video about that. Wendy has played it with her husband. I believe that she was researching and gathering her data and facts for years, guys. And she waited till the right moment. She waited for that baby. And she said, you know what? I'm so out of here. I'm not going to be married. I believe that every time she was counseling Mary and other people and saying, you need to do this and you need to do that. Or when Roseanne was on the show and Roseanne was like, what about your husband, Wendy? In Wendy's mind, Wendy was like, I know all about my husband. Thank you. So I just feel like she's about to be living her best life. But the thing that is so sweet to me as a person that specializes in love and relationships with my readings and for my clients is to see the mending of a long-held soulmated relationship, but also a friendship on this earth. I can't wait to see what these two do. There will be a show, there will be a tell-alls, there will be lots of conversations, and we'll be right there, because who amongst us hasn't had a breakup with someone we love over a misunderstanding that we wish didn't happen, and all we want is a moment to be like, I always had your back, I always loved you, I just didn't know how to fix this. And that's what Charlemagne and Wendy now have the opportunity to do. And the embrace, the hug, the energy, I wish I could be in the room. It's going to be so good, guys, and we'll get to be along for the ride and live vicariously a little bit, which is what we do with all celebrities and people. But see, there's something about Charlemagne and Wendy where they feel very down to earth, don't they? They feel like they're part of us. I know that they're rich and doing well, and they're not us in our homes, their apartments, or whatever, but I know that they started out super regular. And I think in their hearts, when they connect with each other, as a soulmate will have you do, they remember the regular, and they remember the greatness, and they know their potential. And now there's about to be a fuse that ignites between them that lights up the sky like a comet streaking through, which is exactly what soulmates are. It lights up your life, and it doesn't always stay around. But if you're lucky, like Haley's, you can predict when it might come back. And in this case, they weren't able to predict it, but they sure did manifest it. And I couldn't be happier for them. Stay tuned. I'll be doing some follow-up videos on this dynamic of the relationship, and also some of the information that I feel like is coming up from Wendy as a follow-up to the last video and reading. If you have any questions, or you would like to come visit me or get a reading from me, you can come over to my website. Visit me there, www.evolvingwithmonette.com. Pretty easy to remember, just like the channel. And if you are curious about readings, you can find out all the information you need there and how to get in contact with me. You can also leave a comment below if you're happy for Charlemagne and Wendy and you want to talk to me about it. Talk to me. I'll talk back. We're going to talk. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me, Evolvers. Come on back, and we're going to continue to, that come on back was for you, Aunt Wendy. How you doing? You're about to be doing great. But come on back, and we're going to continue to evolve together.